The bats finally exploded, and Justin Wrobleski just keeps dealing. That's a terrible combination for the rest of baseball.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Harry Ruiz, and it's time for Locked On Dodgers. On today's show, Teoscar Hernandez took another major step towards returning to the Dodgers lineup. We'll get into some encouraging injury news on Kyle Tucker and Dalton rushing after both were taken out of Monday's game and didn't play on Tuesday. But first, Robo does it again as Dodgers offense explodes in Minnesota. For the first time in a little while, it felt like everything clicked for the Dodgers on Tuesday night. The offense finally broke through. The bats showed life from top to bottom, and Justin Wrobleski continued making a very strong case that he's become one of the most important pitchers on this team. The Dodgers rolled to a 12-3 victory over the Twins and secured the series win before Wednesday's finale. Now, yes, Minnesota was without Joe Ryan after he was scratched due to illness. That certainly changed the complexion of this matchup, but the Dodgers still had to take advantage of the opportunity, and that's exactly what they did against the Twins bullpen. This offense had been searching for a breakout game because they hadn't reached double digits in runs since June 9th. Then Tuesday happened after they had 4 games out of their last 6 where they couldn't score more than 2 runs. This time, 12 runs, multiple rallies, pressure throughout the game, and 6 different Dodgers recorded multi-hit games. First off, Freddie Freeman, outstanding. Andy Pages, he continued his great season. Both of them had 3-hit games. Chucky Robinson, how about him? He bounced back in a big way after a difficult game Monday night, and he picked up his first hit since September of 2024, going 2 for 4, plus adding a safety squeeze as well. Alex Call, how about him playing in place of Kyle Tucker? He got a special moment too. Back in his home state, family in attendance, and he launched his first home run of the season. Those are the type of stories that make a long baseball season fun. And he spoke about it, how last year he played in Minnesota being a part of the Washington Nationals. Let's remember, interleague teams, when the National League plays against the American League, they don't play home and home series like you do against National League teams. You play at Minnesota one year, and then the next year Minnesota goes to your home stadium, in this case, Los Angeles. Lucky Alex Call, last year when he was with the Nationals, he got to play in Minnesota against the Twins, and now with the Dodgers, after getting traded before the deadline last year, he gets to play in Minnesota for a second year in a row, and he was able to have that big moment. And how about during the broadcast, when he got that home run, you could hear a huge explosion at the stadium despite the Dodgers playing on the road, and it was because Alex Call had a lot of family and friends there, so good for him. He took advantage of that opportunity, pretty much playing 2 complete games back-to-back after Kyle Tucker was pulled from Monday's game in the first inning. But look, beyond the offense, which it was great seeing them score that many runs, we got to talk, most importantly, of what continues to stand out is how many different players are contributing. It's not just one guy putting this team on his shoulders like Shohei Ohtani has done in the past. He was actually the only player on the Dodgers lineup who didn't get a hit. He did get on base once, led off the game with a walk. He ended up scoring the first run of the game. But for this team, when they put the ball in play, good things tend to happen. What was it over the weekend against the Orioles? 28 strikeouts in 3 games? Right here, they put the ball in play, and Minnesota's defense never looked comfortable. Despite them only having 1 error on the scoreboard, there were multiple plays on defense that left Minnesota in a pickle, in a tough position, and the Dodgers, they kept applying pressure, and that ended up being why early in the game, in those first 4 innings, they scored 5 runs, and that would have been enough for them to win this game, but they kept piling it on late in the game, and that's good for the mojo of this team, for the confidence. Yes, they're the team with the best record in baseball. 51 wins they have, and we're not even at the All-Star break. We're not even at the halfway point, which technically after Wednesday's game they will be, and they have the best record in the sport. And the game got away from the Twins in a hurry because the Dodgers were able to do so with their bats. But let's talk about the guy who might deserve the most credit. Justin Wrobleski. 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Another quality start, his 9th of the season. Another win, also his 9th of the year. And another outing where he gave the Dodgers exactly what they needed. When he goes out there on the mound, there's confidence by Dodgers fans that he's going to give them a positive result, and he leads the team right now with 9 wins. His ERA right now sits at 2.71. And here's the crazy part. Remember I mentioned how he has 9 quality starts this season? He's the 3rd Dodgers pitcher with at least 9 quality starts. You have Yoshinobu Yamamoto with 11th, tied for 2nd. You have Shohei Ohtani with 10, tied for 5th. Now add Justin Wrobleski with 9, tied for 10th in the big leagues. That's elite company for Robo. And for the Dodgers as a team, the Dodgers have 3 guys in the top 10 when it comes to quality starts. No other team has more than 2. The Dodgers are the only one. And there's only 2 other teams, the Braves and the Royals, with 2 pitchers being at the top 10 with quality starts. This just goes to show you how the Dodgers, they can have confidence when these 3 guys are out there that they're going to give you at least 6 innings, that they're going to limit the opposition to 3 runs or fewer. And with that, this gives the team an opportunity to win games despite it still not playing its best baseball this season. And how crazy is it to think how much money they're paying Blake Snell, how much money they're paying Tyler Glasnow, and they're not being contributors to this team because of their injuries. The same thing happened last year. Fortunately, they came through in October when it mattered most. But the regular season, you got to have guys out there. Wrobleski, there's a very good argument to make. He's the 3rd best pitcher in the Dodgers organization right now when it comes to guys in the active roster. Then you got a guy like Eric Lauer, who we didn't expect much out of. And in his 5 starts with the Boys in Blue, 3 quality starts and doing a very good job for this team. And honestly, this guy, has to be an all-star. The pitchers don't get decided with votes from the fans. That's the only position that doesn't get picked when it comes to starters by the fan base, by guys and gals going on social media and voting for their favorite players. It gets decided by the managers, by the guys behind the scenes. They vote for them, and Justin Wrobleski more than likely will be one of them. And how cool of a story is that for him, right? A bullpen guy who all of a sudden gets to start because of the way the chips fall before the season starts for the Dodgers, and he's taking 100% of this opportunity. And every time that the Dodgers hand him the ball, they have a very good chance to win, and that's become a huge reason why this team continues stacking victories despite all the injuries that they have dealt with. So let me ask you, Justin Wrobleski has been one of the biggest surprises, not just with the Dodgers, but in all of baseball this season. Where would you rank him among Dodger starters right now? Drop your take in the comments or let us know on any of our social networks or hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 2793-LOCKED. I want to hear where you stand. Obviously, I say top 3 because you got to have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani up there, Justin Wrobleski, I would put him at 3rd. But would you put him higher or lower? Let me know. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, the Dodgers got encouraging updates on both Kyle Tucker and Dalton Rushing after injury scares on Monday night. Workplace chaos can show up fast. One day, everything's under control, and the next, you're missing a key piece of the team. The challenge is that finding the right candidate usually takes more time than most businesses can afford, and every delay adds pressure. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps. It puts your job in front of people who actually match what you're looking for. Skills, experience, and location. So that way, you spend less time filtering and more time interviewing the right fit. Because one great hire can change everything. It can lift a team, improve momentum, and completely shift how a project or business performs. And listeners of Locked On Dodgers get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Go to Indeed.com/podcast. Terms apply. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. You can get every episode of Locked On Dodgers ad-free through the Everydayer Club. There's a free 7-day trial waiting for you at LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com or through the link in the show notes. Plus, check out Pete Fox on our YouTube channel with the Locked On Dodgers postcast right after the final out for immediate reaction of every Dodgers game. Dodgers dodge bigger injury concerns with Tucker and rushing. The Dodgers have had enough injury news this season, so when both Kyle Tucker and Dalton Rushing exited Monday's game early in the game, first and third innings, there was understandable concern. Fortunately, Tuesday brought some optimism. Let's start with Tucker. The Dodgers held him out of the lineup after lower back spasms forced him to leave Monday's game in the first inning. According to both Tucker and Dave Roberts, things appear to be moving in the right direction. The discomfort hasn't completely disappeared, so there's still some soreness when rotating, but Tucker was already feeling better Tuesday than he did on Monday. And perhaps most importantly, neither Tucker nor the Dodgers seem eager to discuss an injured list stint right now. The plan as it stands right now seems straightforward. Give him the rest of the series off. So that counts Tuesday's game. That counts Wednesday game. Take advantage of Thursday's off day. See how he responds. And hopefully have him ready for Friday and San Diego. And considering he left the game on Monday in the first inning, that would be pretty much 4 consecutive days off without much activity. Now, obviously, baseball injuries can change quickly. Back issues can be tricky. Just look at Tyler Glasnow. He was taken out of a game on May 6th with lower back pain. He said post-game that he was optimistic about not missing a lot of time. But here we are, June 24th, still waiting. So that's the situation right now. But one important thing that I feel for Kyle Tucker right now is that it seems like he needs a reset. He hasn't delivered the way that Dodgers fans, Dodgers front office, the coaching staff, everybody involved with the boys in blue the way that we expected. When you spend $60 million on a player, you expect him to have a great season. Or at the very least, a good season. We spoke about it when he got signed, that it was positive for him that landing with the Dodgers, he didn't have to be the guy. Obviously, that spot is Shohei Ohtani's. And then you got Freddie Freeman. And then you got Mookie Betts. And you got Max Muncy. And you got, of course, Will Smith. You can even add on the pitching side. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the MVP of the World Series, the incredible way that he won 3 games in the World Series. You got players left and right that at any other team, they could be the alpha dog. With the Dodgers, they're part of a very deep squad. So he doesn't have that responsibility of being the top dog. But at the same time, you look at his numbers and it's like, man, you can't be having those numbers. And that's what for him is one of his roughest seasons in the big leagues right after getting the type of contract that you had. So these 4 days, they can work both as a physical but also a mental reset for him ahead of the end of the first half of the season before the All-Star break. As for Dalton Rushing, the backup catcher for the Dodgers, who became the starter once Will Smith ended up on the injured list, the update sounds even more encouraging when it comes to him. After he took a foul ball directly off of his mask on Monday night, he experienced symptoms that prompted the Dodgers to put him through concussion protocol. And the organization, they deserve credit here because they didn't take any chances. They were cautious, they followed the process, and that's exactly what teams should do in those situations. Health is ahead of results. The good news here is that Rushing reported he's feeling much better. He described the symptoms as a headache and some nausea, but nothing close to the concussion that he suffered a few years ago. So the fact that he was already talking about returning quickly is certainly encouraging. He was actually available off of the bench for the Dodgers in case they needed him, but with the butt whooping that they put on the Minnesota Twins, there was no need at all to risk him and send him out there. It'll be interesting to see in the series finale against Minnesota how they feel if they want to have Rushing catching Shohei Ohtani instead of Chucky Robinson. They'll send him out there, but everything seems to be on the right track. And actually, Dave Roberts, he joked that players usually think they're available long before medical staffs agree, but you don't have him available off the bench if he hasn't cleared concussion protocol. I'm pretty sure they're as strict as they are in the NFL, where even if you have the most minimum symptom, they're going to hold you out. Right here, he was available off the bench, and the Dodgers, they didn't end up using him. So the final determination rests with the doctors, but all signs seem to be positive as of now. And if both Tucker and Rushing avoid lengthy absences, that, in my opinion, is a big victory for the Dodgers, because even with all the depth that this roster has, every healthy regular matters. And good for the Dodgers. Alex Call, who was a minor, and I'm putting it in air quotes, move before the trade deadline, they put him out at right field. He delivers both with the glove and with his bat. Chucky Robinson, yes, coming in for Rushing on Monday, he had a rough night. He went, 0 for 3, and 2 of those at-bats were his first 2 strikeouts with 2 runners on base, runners in scoring position. In a close game, you definitely would wish better, but now, in his second game in a row, pretty much, this one, his first start of the series in Minnesota, he was able to get those 2 hits, to feel the confidence, to feel better, and the questions now, are they still the same? Who should the Dodgers sign? Because Van Rortvedt, he's over with the Mets AAA affiliate. You got Austin Barnes coaching a community college in Riverside, I believe, right now. He was with the Dodgers for a decade plus. Would it be worth giving him a call? Or do you just play it by ear and having Dalton Rushing potentially back and just having Chucky Robinson as his backup? Is that enough? The Dodgers, they definitely know what to do in this situation, and if they haven't pulled any other moves, it's because they feel good. They had a catcher in the taxi squad. It wasn't announced who, but just in case he's available there, it'll be interesting to see. If they end up activating one, that means the Rushing situation is a little bit harder, but at the moment, with what has been said by the team, it doesn't appear to be that situation. So let me ask you, which player returning healthy is more important for the Dodgers right now, in your opinion? Kyle Tucker or Dalton Rushing? Drop your answer in the comments or hit me on social at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, or on TikTok at Harry Ruiz_. Next on Locked On Dodgers, one of the Dodgers' biggest bats is getting closer to returning, and Teoscar Hernandez wasted no time reminding everyone exactly what he's capable of as he kicked off his rehab assignment. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions deal with it. HIMS makes it simple though. They connect you with licensed providers online for personalized treatments from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just an easy, straightforward process. Taking care of yourself shouldn't feel complicated. HIMS keeps it private and built around your schedule. When something is already uncomfortable to talk about, starting online from home makes that first step much more manageable. To get simple, online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb for your free online visit. hims.com/lockedonmlb. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. HIMS is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're juggling a bunch of separate systems that don't talk to each other. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings everything together. Sales, accounting, inventory, marketing, all in one platform. So your team can move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about everyone working toward the same goal. Just like in sports, when the front office, coaches, and players are all aligned, great things happen. Great organizations win because operations matter. So try Odoo for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Are you new here? Welcome. Everydayers, you already know you're the heartbeat of our show. It's easy and free to help us out. Subscribe and like our content on YouTube. Drop a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify and hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line. 2793-LOCKED. That's 279-356-2533. Teo's rehab starts with a bang. The countdown to Teoscar Hernandez's return is officially underway. And if Tuesday was any indication, Dodgers fans won't have to wait much longer. Hernandez began his rehab assignment with AAA Oklahoma City as they visited Reno to take on the Aces. And in his second at-bat, he went deep. Not a bad way to announce that you're getting close. He went 1 for 3 in this game with that 2-run bomb in the third inning. He struck out once, and he left the game in the 6th inning. Now, the home run itself isn't the biggest takeaway. Rehab assignments aren't necessarily about results. They're about health, they're about movement, they're about confidence, they're about proving that your body can handle baseball activities again, especially for a guy like Teo being out for 3 weeks. You got to get back on that horse and show that your body is ready to go back on the field. But seeing Teoscar immediately drive the ball certainly doesn't hurt. The expectation for him is that he'll spend most of this week with Oklahoma City in Reno before potentially rejoining the Dodgers during the upcoming Athletic Series that starts on Monday in Sacramento, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he'll either get a ride, somebody's going to take him, drive him over, or himself get a rental car and head over to Sacramento. It's only a 2.5-hour drive from Reno to Sacramento, and there's no direct flight. So I feel it would be easier to either get him a driver or get himself a rental car and head on over to Sacramento. But if this timeline holds, the Dodgers could soon be getting back one of their most dangerous run producers. Before getting hurt, Hernandez was swinging one of the hottest bats on the roster because over his last 18 games before landing on the injured list, he was hitting .367. with an OPS of over 1,000. That type of production isn't easy to replace. And of course, Ryan Ward has been doing his best. Alex Call, they were splitting that time over at left field, and now with Call over at right, you get a little bit more opportunity for Wardo over there at left field, but they've been holding their position there. But Teoscar Hernandez, he's a dangerous bat. Remember Game 1 of the NLDS against the Phillies in Philadelphia? He came through clutch late in the game with a home run that pretty much swung the momentum in that series completely in favor of the Dodgers. When they started the game down on the score, they tied the game, but Teoscar Hernandez, he switched things for the Dodgers in that game. He sometimes gets into slumps, but you rather have him in the lineup instead of not. So let's see what happens with him, because the depth, they've done a good job for the Dodgers, but Teoscar changes the equation. He lengthens that lineup. He adds protection. He adds another hitter capable of changing a game with one swing. And perhaps most importantly, the Dodgers have taken a patient approach with his recovery. There was no reason at all to rush him. Especially not in June, not with bigger goals ahead. You want him to be available when it comes to the later parts of the season, especially in October, and that's something that we talk about every single player that's hurt, be it a starting pitcher like Snell or Glasnow, be it a closer like Diaz, be it the catcher like Will Smith, or in this case, Teoscar Hernandez over at left field, because we've seen what happens when players come back before they're fully ready. Other squads, they have to do it because it's either you bring that guy up or you start sinking in the standings. For the Dodgers, they have a very deep roster. They have guys even in their minor leagues, guys that are prospects that can come up and deliver. Ward had waited for his opportunity for 7 years, and he has more home runs than Fernando Tatis Jr. right now at this point of the seasons. And the key right here is that the Dodgers wanted Hernandez healthy, not just available. And based on everything that we've heard and now seen with his first rehab assignment, that's exactly the approach that they've taken. And if all goes according to plan, the Dodgers should soon welcome back one of the key pieces of their offense. And considering the lineup is slowly getting healthier overall, that's a development every Dodgers fan should be very excited about. Teoscar Hernandez, one step closer to returning with the boys in blue. Definitely good news for the Dodgers. Definitely before the All-Star break. This is good because if not, you would have to wait until the All-Star game, which is on July 14th. There's 1 day off before that game. There's 2 days off after that one, and then a long road trip with the Dodgers playing in New York against the Yankees, afterwards in Philadelphia against the Phillies, and once again in the Big Apple against the Mets. So you want to get his legs underneath him. The Dodgers have that series over in Sacramento. Then they come back home to play the Padres, Rockies, and D-backs before the All-Star break, and that's a fantastic opportunity to give Teoscar Hernandez the opportunity to get back going to the rhythm that he had before he ended up hitting the injured list. So let me ask you, when Teoscar Hernandez returns, where would you put him in the batting order? Let me know in the YouTube comments or reach out on social media. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network, celebrating now 10 years of existence. I'll be back for Thursday's episode to recap Shohei Ohtani's start against the Twins, where Minnesota will have their ace on the mound, Joe Ryan. So expect a great pitching duel between these two top-level pitchers. Plus, will Shohei Ohtani be okay with his knee and his blister? That's the hope, but we won't know until that start happens Wednesday over there on the road. If you're with us every day, check out the Everydayer Club. You'll get Locked On Dodgers completely ad-free, access to our members-only Discord, and more perks along the way. Join the party at LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com. If you're watching on YouTube, stick around and check out the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. And if you're listening on audio, make Locked On MLB your second listen of the day. I appreciate you riding with me. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.